with my finger hovering over the press play button, because I am really riled up today, and I'm not so sure it's the best thing to come on and talk about it, but this is something that riles me up a lot. And I just, on behalf of your teens, I need to say something. I was, almost every day I go on Facebook and look at some of the teen support, parenting teen support groups, and I read what they have to say. And the responses that people give, nothing short of piss me off. And it's unfair because I forget that not everyone knows what I know, and not everyone spends their entire day in, day out thinking about this stuff. I get that, and I try to understand that. But what I don't understand is the constant response of, it's okay, you're doing the best you can, everything will work out. And this is why this response pisses me off. Because you're never going to go to a support group of doctors that are going to talk about what they did in a surgery, and people will go, well, that's okay, you did the best you can. No, they're going to try to figure out what went wrong, how to fix it, and what to do differently next time. If you took your car to an auto mechanic and they said, oh, I'll look under your hood, I'm just going to do the best I can, would you leave it there? No. If you went and got your hair cut and the hairdresser said, oh, I'm just going to do the best I can, or they lop off your ear and they say, well, you moved, I'm doing the best I can, would you go back? No. So this is what I'm so confused about, is why is it okay when it is the most important job on the freaking planet, raising kids, that it's okay that we just do the best we can and we shrug it off and hope everything will be okay in the end? Now, I get it. We don't know what to do. There's a lot of things that come our way and we're baffled. We don't understand. We are doing the best we can. But if the best you can is the same every single day, then you're not doing the best you can anymore, because there's so much out there that you can learn. And again, I know I'm probably going to piss people off, and I know I'm missing something, but what I don't understand is how people can, every day you put, let's just look at your New Year's resolutions. How many of you have put on your New Year's resolutions, I'm going to lose weight? How many of you have said, I need to make more money, or I need to improve my romantic life, or I have? How many of you that are parents have put on the top of your list, I want to be a better parent? How many of you wake up every morning going, how can I be a better parent today? If your friends stop talking to you, you can see how passionate I am. I'm sorry. This is what gets me going, because there are things we can do. And I read these Facebooks and they all blame the teenager. They all say, yeah, I've even seen parents call their teenagers assholes. Yeah, they're an asshole. Well, you know what, dear parent? If you have an asshole as a son, guess who raised that asshole of a son? I mean, yeah, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to make lots of mistakes. I made mistakes this morning. I make mistakes every single day. But you know what I do every single day is I go, what mistakes do I make, and how do I make sure I don't make those mistakes again? And if things aren't going right, if someone's not talking to me, if my friend's not talking to me, do I say, oh, my friend's an asshole? No, I probably go, what did I do or say wrong? But when our teens get angry at us, we often blame our teens, or we blame ourselves. We do. I see a lot of parents blaming themselves. But we just kind of beat ourselves up instead of going, well, what can I do differently? And maybe I have it wrong. Maybe you are doing everything you can. And I know a lot of you, and I'm going to backtrack a little bit because I don't want to beat people up at all. That's not my goal. I just want to wake people up. I want to wake parents up that it is hard parenting teenagers, but you know what's way harder? Being a teenager. Being a teenager is one of the hardest things to ever do, because you are going through so much change and your mind is growing so fast that you are a different person every single day, and you make so many mistakes because your emotions are leading everything you do. And you have to impress your teachers and make them proud. You have to impress your parents and make them proud. You have to navigate your friends who can be really mean and small, because they're also being beaten down. We're being told every day as teens that we're not good enough, that we need to do more, that we need to suck it up, that we need to be respectful, but we're not respected. We're not respecting them. And I've said this before, we set our teens up to fail over and over and over again, and then they get in trouble for failing. And I just want to make a plea that you take the time to step back and understand why your teen is behaving the way they do. Understand. If they're not motivated, this is a big thing I'm seeing right now. My teen's not motivated. I'm yelling at them constantly. I'm trying to bribe them and force them to study. They're not getting A's. They're going to not fail. They're going to fail. And here's my thought with this, is that if you're more motivated for them to get an A than they are, why? Either you're not conveying to them how important the A is a language and in a way that actually resonates with them, that motivates them. You need an A because I want you to get an A, or you need an A to get into a good school. Well, why? What is the A teaching them? What is the A getting them in the long run? What actually shows up over and over and over? Thank you, Angel. I know people are probably going to not like me right now, but I can't not say that stuff anymore. When we focus so much on their A, getting an A, and then we wonder why our kids lie and cheat to get that A when that's what we're rewarding, instead of, there's study after study after study that shows what really establishes success, what really sets them up for success, is resiliency, problem solving, intrinsic motivation, belief in themselves. And by focusing so much on the A, we are actually stifling the development of those very things that make them successful. So I ask you again, why is that A so important? Why is their A so important to you? Why is getting into the right school so important to you? Thank you, Beth. Because if it's not important to your teen, that's the question. Why isn't it important to your teen? And it's not because they're just not motivated, because they're not motivated because there's nothing that's motivating them. You know, a lot of people go, well, they would just spend time in front of the TV playing video games. Well, yeah, it's far more exciting and stimulating and rewarding than sitting in front of a boring computer listening to a talking head. Of course. Well, they won't get out of bed to come down to the computer. No, they're not. Because sleep is far more enjoyable to them than getting in front of a camera and listening to a talking head. So instead of getting angry instead of bribing them, instead of these constant battles with them to try to coerce them into getting there and studying, let's think about what is going to motivate them. Why would they want to do it? What is their big dream? How does school help them fulfill their dream? Or maybe they're so frustrated and they can't study. I know my daughter's struggling with being able to focus. Well, how many times have you sat in a conference, a teleconference, and had someone call your name and you're like, oh crap, I was just looking at my phone, I have no idea what they're saying, and you go, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the last part of that. I did that pretty much every conference call I was on because I was distracted and it was boring. How are we expecting our teens to do this when we have more capacity to focus than they do? So let's help them. Figure out ways to help them become more focused. If staring at the computer all day is driving them nuts, then how else can we help them learn the material? If they're so focused on getting an A that they're stressing out, this was the other thing. My daughter was so stressed out about getting all the information that her brain just shut down because she was so stressed out about the end game and we talked about it. It's more important to, what are you learning? Even if you learn one thing in that hour, you've learned one thing that you didn't know before. And it's going to get easier as you practice, but it takes practice. So again, I get it. Parenting teens can be really, really difficult. And the one thing that I want to express as often as I can is that parenting teens is difficult because we make it far more difficult than it needs to be. Because we work against both how the teen brain works and how teen motivation works. And a lot of times I see parents working against very human nature. We have these expectations for our teens that completely disregard how the human mind works, how motivation works. We push, we coerce, we bribe, we do all the things that decrease motivation. And it's interesting to me too, and then I'll get off because I will talk about this for hours. If you know me, you know that. But I talk to people, and I've actually had people say this to me, and they'll say, oh, my teen is driving me nuts because of this. And I'll say, oh, well, here's a suggestion. They go, oh, well, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And I want to ask them, well, what are you doing with your time that's more important than your kid? Well, I've got to make money to put a roof over their head, and I've got to make money to clothe them, and I've got to make money for their tutors, and I've got to make money for their dance classes, and I've got to do this and this and this and this. And I will tell you right now, you can buy them the Taj Mahal, and if they don't feel like they are loved and accepted and appreciated by you, it's not going to matter. Okay, I'm shaking because this is how much this means to me. I just want to say, I know you guys love your kids. I know you guys want the best for your kids, and I know everything you do is for your kids. What I want to say is, doing all this stuff doesn't mean you're doing all the right stuff. So if things are not going the way you want, if your relationship with your teen is not what you want, if your teen is behaving in ways that really bother you and drive you crazy, please stop blaming your teens, and please start looking at what you can do differently. Trying to understand them. And I will give you one tip today, if any of this has hit home with you, is the one thing that I tell parents over and over again that is probably the most powerful thing that you can ever do, is listen. Not lecture, not fix, not correct. Listen quietly without even thinking of what you're going to say in response. Listening to understand, listening to with curiosity, with compassion, feeling what they're going through, especially now when they're struggling with feeling isolated and feeling stuck and stressed out and anxious about having to study online and work online. Listen. That's it. That's all I want you to do today, is listen to your teen and really listen to understand what is going on with them. Don't fix it. Don't tell them to suck it up. Just say, wow, I hear you. Sounds tough. That's it. I love you guys, and I love your teens, and I want the best for both of you, or all of you.